Let me flip it. What's the difference between a guy flirting and a guy being sleazy?
How it's
How does
received.
it?
Because a lot of guys are told it's the difference between how attractive you are.
How handsome
Yeah.
they are, maybe.
And that feels really unfair, right?
In movies, you know,
I know, you hear
the
it all the
handsome
time.
guy will do some super sleazy stuff and she'll be like,
Yeah. And so this is the thing I want to raise. Like,
Finally.
is that all it is? It's just about how attractive he is.
I think it like when you say the word flirting and then you put sleazy next to it, I think flirting classy,
Yeah.
sleazy low class. It's like that's just So
I think what you were talking about before in terms of like the female, like the sensuality side of things, there's a male version of that as well. You feel the energy. So he could be dropping the most corny pickup line, but the way he says it is very different to if someone's just, you know, throwing it out there, like you're saying, low class as opposed to, something
something a bit more
far more respectable.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he can flirt and he can flirt sexy, but there's you can feel that there's some it's confidence, but it's just it's not trying to. He just wants to he wants to impress you, but how would you say? He wants to impress you because he wants you to either feel good, not because he wants something from you, like overtly, like I want sex straight away. It's like, or I want to get there quickly. So I might say something a bit sleazy and see if that turns her on. Maybe I haven't had enough people flirt. No, I have had them flirt with me. But how do you
Like sleazy can also be misinterpreted because there's that connotation, that judgment there because I don't know, sometimes sleazy can come off as they're delivering this thing that they've like really messed up the delivery of. So it's a lack of confidence. So if they were to just deliver it the way that they practiced in front of the mirror, it'd come off far more.
is it also to do with like hidden intentions as well? Like if they,
That's what I was
like
wondering.
they could be saying all the right things, like, oh, you know, I'm looking for someone to settle
like
down with, et cetera, et cetera.
kind of a thing.
It's still the energy. Like I personally really find cheesy pickup lines hilarious. It just depends on how it's delivered. So yeah, hidden intentions. Like if someone's dropping a pickup line at you, you know the intention. The intention is at least to have a conversation, and they probably think you're attractive, at least a little bit. So yeah, hidden intentions. I don't really worry about that so much.
Like
if it's picked up as sleazy, then it's okay. So I need to investigate more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay more attention to you.
Yeah.
Because are you a threat? And that's like a really subconscious kind of a thing. It's like, well, maybe I want to step over here, or where's my girlfriend? Can I just angle someone between us, or something like that?
Slowly make your exit.
Yeah.
Because sort of the scenario I was thinking of was the whole, you know, men trying to say anything or do anything to get someone into bed.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they know that you're looking for a relationship, and so maybe they're saying, you know, they'd like to. They're also looking for a relationship and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well,
would you sort of pick up on? Actually, nah, I reckon this guy is looking for.
I would
sort
say
of a quick thing.
it's difficult because there's manipulation, but I don't like. So I mean, I think there are always little tells, unless someone's a complete sociopath. In which case they won't actually exhibit those little telltale signs. So I'd still say that guy is still the asshole, but your spidey sense as a woman should be a little bit, you know, more finely calibrated to be able to pick up on it. Hey, something was a little bit weird.
or else you're just not telling yourself the truth.
Yeah.
You go always, no matter how good they are with the lies that, you know, bullshit that comes out of them, you always know.
Yeah.
But maybe you just want to go along with it, maybe because you actually also have your own,
it feels good or
intentions, or that you go along with, but you know.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It seems like sort of an energy,
It's definitely
almost a
it's definitely a
subconscious sort of
subtext.
thing to differentiate between the
But
two.
what makes it so hard is it's a very deeply buried subtext with guys. I know when I coach them, a lot of these guys are good guys, right? They're not actually talking to me sleazy about women. So to a guy that can say whatever they like, they're not talking sleazy. And then they go to talk to a woman, and I can see it too. Oh, this looks a little creepy. But it's so subtle. This guy he's not thinking creepy. He just wants the girl to like be nice and friendly and talk to him. If that's what he got, he'd be so happy, right? It's not like you got to say have sex with me tonight. It's just like,
So she's picking up on you've got too many other thoughts in your head.
yeah, there's something and it's a really complicated subtext. But it's and so many guys, it's one of the biggest reasons why that and being teased, but one of the biggest reasons outside of that guys don't approach women because there's a lot of times guys have seen each of you and not talk to you is because they were scared of looking sleazy. Right? And this is so common.
Yeah.
Right? That if guys could really understand how to not be like
these
that.
days.
Wow. It's a good thing there aren't many sleazy guys on the apps.
Why is that common here, though? I find it hard.
Because there's a lot of shame thrown at guys for being sleazy. So there's a lot in our culture. There's such a big, again, the feminist anger thing has created so much fear. Like guys don't want to be here. Guys don't want to be seen as sleazy. It's like the worst. It's not quite as bad, but it's getting close to, did you molest children? Do you harm animals? Are you sleazy? Is like just a step above that. You just don't want to be seen that way as a guy. Would you kind of agree? It's a very strong sensation.
Yep.
That's the worst thing to be seen as a guy. Outside of this.
Integrity. A challenge to your sense of integrity.
It makes us feel dirty and gross. Like one of the worst things we can have as humans is to someone look at us like we're gross. It's a very visceral thing, right? We don't want to be seen that way. You can be not attracted to us, but disgust. And sleaziness makes a woman look at us with disgust. And that will try to run away for anything, you know?
One thing I did do when I was younger was when I was approached in like a club or something like that, I would just dismiss the approach with a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of meanness, or a little callousness. I don't do that anymore. I always go, well, no, thank you, but thanks and have a really nice night. I appreciate what you're trying to do, all that sort of stuff. So I've
noticed more and more women do that now, which is really cool.
So it's not a complete, it's not a dismiss or dismissiveness. It's thanks, I acknowledge that, but sorry, no. Because I don't know, it's one of the things that when you're younger, you kind of, as a woman, it took me quite a long time to realize that men actually have feelings the same way that women have feelings. I mean, obviously the differences, but you can hurt a guy.
Well, men tend to really mask our feelings too, right? So you won't know when they've been damaged so easily. Yeah.
So yeah, the older I've gotten, the more yes.
That's really interesting.
Where I am.
So you're quite conscious about how you receive that sort of advance.
Yeah, as in I'll still sort of match the energy and go, well, no, but it's no thank you and thanks for playing.
I think it really comes down to matching that energy because even just online, when online dates, I've had people who just even just in the chatting section, right? You get people who, if you know that you've had a bit of a connection or it's just very early stages and they start flirting very overtly, that pushed me away because we haven't had that connection yet. It's only just in this much. Yeah, and you're already you're not matching my energy. You're already trying to push towards this going forward very quickly. And so then I then kind of associate that as, oh, maybe this guy's a bit sleazy.
What do you consider as flirting online? What do you consider as flirting or being sleazy online?
An example would be already suggesting something along the lines of let's sexual.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anything sexual when you've only been maybe chatting with this person for a couple of days or just exchange and you haven't even met.
And
especially, I suppose, if you're not giving that energy, like you said, matching energies, because I've had women who were ready to jump on me on the first day, and I match that energy. That's not sleazy. That's just matching energy, right?
That's the most
and matched her energy.
But there's a real point behind that, is that you're reading the energy that she's sending out. Not trying to accelerate too fast, that sort of stuff.
So then is there any advice you could give to a guy who inadvertently is looking sleazy without saying anything sleazy. So it's not saying something rude or crass or whatever. But let's say a guy wants to talk to a girl in a bar and he's kind of had women treat him as though he's being sleazy before and he doesn't know what he's doing. What would you say to him?
Not to think too much about it, not to put too much energy or stress. Is that even possible for you guys to actually approach a girl without stressing about it?
It's hard because there's a lot on the line, like emotionally.
But a woman can actually...
Yeah, that's part of it, right? You should want her. You should be worried about rejection because you really want her to like you.
Yeah, that's still... Okay. I can want a guy, like a guy. I don't do this, but I can actually just walk up to someone and say it, even though I don't. It's a thing. Don't worry about it. But just walk up to them and tell them, I like you. But at the same time, still be okay if they say no. I'm like, that's cool. And walk away and that's it. I've tried. I've done what I need to do. And it's not going to happen. And that's fine. You move on from it. And not put that burden of or that stress like, okay, I need to do this because I really like this person. But hey, go to the person and just say what you have to say. Hope for the best. If it's not, yay, that's okay. Whatever, move to the next kind of. But from what you're saying, men tend to stress about it.
There's a lot of social judgment that we face around approaching a woman, if it's being sleazy or if it's being laughed at or rejected, and then our value as a man is often tied to how women respond to us. You know, there's a lot socially that rides on it. That's subtext that I don't think about now, sure, but that's because I've done it lots of times, and then it just fades. Like, you know, you don't think about it so much.
Deeper into that answer, and say, could it come down to sort of the level of self-love and self-acceptance that someone has for themselves? So that not so much is riding on whether this person sort of validates you or accepts you or whatever, because you're going to have that acceptance for yourself.
Giving them much power than unnecessary power over you.
Sort of putting your whole worth on this person's reaction to you.
Yeah. Let me tell you the one thing that has helped, and it's interesting that it's helped because it's not an obvious thing, but when I get guys to start the conversation with, I'm a little bit nervous, but I wanted to come and talk to you. Yeah. If he was going to look sleazy before that, he doesn't now, because whatever was to look sleazy, she understands as nervousness. And it's the only thing that's helped, because you're talking about being a bit more vulnerable, being a bit more real. It kind of undermines what she may have thought your intentions were. Because often nervousness can manifest as being creepy, because you don't know what's basically he's acting weird and you don't know why. And I think that's part of it.
Definitely. That kind of statement is disarming because a woman's instantly got her defenses up. So you want to negotiate that as quickly as possible.
Would that make you instantly lose interest for him, though, saying he's been nervous?
No, not at all. So
I'm curious. Curious.
I would say instantly I will know if I'm attracted to him or not. I would say, coming back to your previous question in terms of is there something that a woman can say or do or something? I would say it's not her responsibility. But if he comes into the conversation saying, look, I'm a little bit nervous, that can open up a dialogue. Or if he wants to talk about it a little bit more, I'm very happy to be quite honest in terms of how he approached his energy, all that sort of business. But I don't believe a woman should have to do anything.
No, I don't think so either. It is his responsibility to bring the right energy to the interaction. I never meant to suggest it was a woman's job to
you don't have to
manage that.
Just to avoid
just to reach around at least, you know.
the pity married.
Wait for 5 years and then say
it was all a joke.
But that actually opens up like you something up, like taking down that the shields or whatever down immediately and be more open to actually talk to them. Like it's more like an moment, and then and then you're open to actually really.
But a lot of men are certain that will make them less attractive to women. They're certain doing that will make them less attractive.
Only if the woman in question is immature.
Yeah.
And then you need to get away from that, because the last thing you need, if you're actually going there with intention, then the last thing you need to do is to have anything to do with that person, because you don't.
Cutting.
You don't want that at all. But
I agree with that.
Yeah, so
I agree with that.
Oh, very good distinction.
Because there are a lot of guys who put up with stuff they shouldn't just because she's attractive.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, there's all kinds of crazy you don't want to get involved with if you're not careful.